I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of bunch of changes schematically. We just have to put our players, in the best situations, meaning take their strengths and utilize that in the game plan.
Welcome into Jags A.M. this morning. A lot of changes. We weren't sure what the changes were going to be, but we'll start out with big thing number one, which is a big change. Brian reports out now that Cam Robinson being traded away. That means Walker Little is going to be the starting left tackle going forward. What are your immediate thoughts?
Well, it just makes too much sense, right? I mean, Cam is at the very end of his Jaguars career. There were 9 games left in the regular season for him, and you've got behind him Walker Little, a player that you drafted in 2021 expecting someday he would become the starter. Well, someday is now. You have 9 games to evaluate him to see if he's your guy going into 2025 and beyond. They had to bench Cam in favor of Walker because you need to find out about Walker. And if the Vikings are offering what's reported, a fifth that could become a fourth, you had to take that. Anything better than a 7, you had to take that.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's time. I keep getting questions about fire sale. I don't know how to define a fire sale, but I know Roy Robinson Harrison left 2 weeks ago and Cam Robinson left now. Look, it's not a happy day. Cam was a good player for this team for a long time. I liked Cam a lot, but as Brian said, at some point you have to figure out what your future is and get value for a guy that you're 99.999% sure is not going to be here next year.
And appreciation for him. He's the last guy who played for Doug Marrone. He was the last guy who was here when Tom Coughlin was here, and he talked about it at length when Tom Coughlin was inducted into the Pride of the Jaguars, Kai. I mean, he's a guy with some perspective, has seen big winning seasons and endured his share of unfortunate. You hate to see a guy go, but he was going to go anyway. If you can get something for him, it makes too much sense.
Certainly be a different locker room because Cam has been here for such a long time. So we'll have a little bit more on this as the day goes along, and hopefully more for you on Jags A.M. tomorrow morning. Our second big thing today going to be about ready, set, go. This team has started slow all season long, and that's something the team has addressed and they've talked about they have to deal with going forward.
Had a good start, first down. We're a 6-7 yard completion now, first down to Tank, and then 2 incompletions. I mean, those are just things we got to continue to look at, and it's just that execution part, right? And then as coaches making the decisions and the type of calls that we're making, and just look at it and make sure we're doing the right thing there. And but again, it took us into the second quarter against New England to get going, and it took us about to the 14th play of this game, to get us going. So, that's something we've got to look at and really make an emphasis of, starting like the way we finish. That would be ideal, as we move forward.
John, it would be really ideal if they could pick up where they left off in the fourth quarter of the last game, at least on offense. But how do they actually get that done?
Well, conceptually, when you script early, a lot of times you're looking and trying to figure out, okay, what works against this defense? If they're going to play this, how do we counter that? So it can be a little bit of a test for the rest of the game. That being said, you don't want to test and then have it be the middle of the second quarter before you do anything. So I wonder, Brian, if you don't try to – I hate when people always say, well, the solution is to go up-tempo. It's hard to go up-tempo early if that's not what you are. But get Trevor going downfield, get him out of the pocket a little bit, get him playing loose, because that's how he's played well the last few weeks, and I think historically that's how he plays well.
I think you're talking about layups, giving him some easy throws, some off-tempo, some up-tempo, however you want to say it. Maybe it's no huddle. Listen, the last 2 games, you had 5 plays and 25 yards in London, and you had, in the first quarter, and you had 15 yards on, I think, 6 plays against the Packers. You've got to do something different, try something different. Press Taylor and his team will try to figure that out this week, but, make it easy. Which is easy to say and not quite as easy to do.
Absolutely. Easier said than done. Our final big thing today going to be defensive dilemma. We've seen a lot of issues on defense, obviously, late in the game against the Packers as well. Whether we'll see scheme changes or personnel changes, not quite sure just yet.
The scheme, is it the execution by the players? I would say it's a little of both right now. And look, bottom line is sometimes, and I'm not saying this is the case, but you don't want to do too much on the field, right? You don't want to take things into your own hands and think you got to do somebody else. We just ask you to do your job. Coaches coach, players play, all that, but just do your job. and we'll be fine. And when you see the good out there, that's what's happening. All 11 are playing as one. But sometimes there's, every now and then you get the one guy that, maybe he's out of his gap or does something a little bit different or forgot an assignment or something like that, and it hurts us.
Ryan, it's been painful at times to watch the defense. He's talking about kind of playing your role and not going outside of your job. Is it just that simple? Is it about simplifying things?
Well, this week I think it's really simple. I think it's about the front seven because Saquon Barkley is on a tear the last 2 games. 176 yards against the Giants. He could have had his career best that day. 108 yards last week when they beat the Bengals. And when you combine him with Jalen Hurts in that offensive line, look, if the Jaguars play the run as poorly as they did the run against the Packers, they don't have to worry about the back end because the Eagles are not going to stop running the ball. This is about guys up front in their gaps and then wrapping up and making tackles. They didn't tackle very well. They didn't play the run very well. They better do that a lot better against the Eagles on Sunday.
Yeah, I think there's a chance this week they get Dewey back. That could help in terms of awareness back there. I don't want to sit here and tell people watching this that I think they're all of a sudden going to start covering better because they haven't covered well all year. I kind of agree with what Brian said. You got to stop the run. And then when you get pass rushing opportunities against this team, you have to contain Jalen Hurts and you have to get some rush from the interior, which they haven't had. Until they get better pass rush, I'm not sure it matters what they do in the back end.
We'll have to see what that will exactly be in terms of changes. Stay with us here on Jags A.M. We'll do a little bit of this or that as to what some changes we think might be.
Navigating the current housing market and figuring out your best move when it comes to a mortgage isn't your full-time job, but it's one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make. That's where the experts at Jet Home Loans get into the game and coach you to your ultimate goal of getting not just the right loan, but the perfect loan for you, the home of your dreams. Jet Home Loans works with you all the way, from application to closing, making sure your game plan is perfect. Make the call to Jet Home Loans and let their team join your team to make your dreams take flight. Visit jethl.com.
Ranked as the nation's best public university by the Wall Street Journal, the University of Florida is on a mission to transform education. UF continues to help grow the economy through research breakthroughs and leadership in AI. And with its nationally recognized career services, UF students and graduates have never been better prepared to make a difference in the world. To learn more about how the University of Florida fuels bold ideas that make an impact around the globe, visit fromflorida.ufl.edu.
Are you ready for a taste bud touchdown? Well, Jags fans, if you're at the bank and craving a snack that's shell-shockingly good, look no further than Luray Peanut Company's boiled peanuts. Picture this, you in the stands, cheering on your Jaguars, and in one hand, a bag of piping hot boiled peanuts. With original or Cajun to choose from, they're so delicious, you'll wonder where they've been all your life. So grab them while they're hot and get back to the game. And as always, Duval. Luray boiled peanuts, where every nut is a winner.
Hey Jaguars fans, as the official whiskey sponsor of the NFL, it's not kickoff without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. And that's why they've built the Crown Royal Rig. An absurdly awesome 18-wheeler delivering the generous spirit to stadiums and tailgates across the country. Follow the Royal Rig on its journey from city to city, bringing together local cuisine, NFL legends, and the opportunity to pack a purple bag for charity and win tickets to Super Bowl 59. Visit crownroyal.com for rules and more. Please drink responsibly.
Check this out, the new iPhone 16 built for Apple Intelligence. At Verizon, you can get it when you trade in any phone from one of their top brands.
Any?
Any.
Even if it's 4 years old?
Yeah.
Even if it's 4 years old and I drop it on the sidewalk?
Yep.
Even if it's 4 years old and I drop it on the sidewalk, then a scooter runs it over, so now it's not just old and cracked, but shattered?
With Verizon, the answer is always yes. Trade in any phone from one of our top brands for the new iPhone 16 with Unlimited Ultimate. Plus, get a new iPad. Trade-in terms apply. See Verizon.com for details. Apple Intelligence coming fall 2024.
Are you ready for some football? Well, you are now, thanks to Ticketmaster. As the official ticket marketplace of the Jacksonville Jaguars and the NFL, Ticketmaster's got the best way to take it to the house when it comes to being there live. They're the safest and most convenient marketplace to score fully verified Jaguars tickets. And even if your plans get broken up or worse, turned over, Ticketmaster gives you more flexibility to sell your seats. So get those touchdown celebrations ready and score your tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/Jaguars.
Welcome back to Jags A.M., brought to you in part by Fields Auto, Jacksonville's premier luxury auto group. You can head over to fieldsauto.com.
This or that. This or that.
Welcome back into Jags A.M. We're doing a little this or that. Normally in this segment, we talk about the offensive line, maybe Walker Little or Cam Robinson, but that decision has apparently been made already. So when we look at the offensive line, let's just talk about this overall to kind of start things off. Do you still feel good about the depth of the offensive line? A lot of what we were seeing, consistency. We talked about having the same 5 players out there. Now with Walker in the mix, do we think we'll see the same thing? Also, we don't really know whether Ezra Cleveland will be able to go either.
Yeah, well, the depth is going to be tested now. Obviously, you had 3 guys that you were comfortable with at tackle, and Walker was a swing guy, and now he's gone. Cam is gone, so Walker's there. And this week, you're probably going to have Cooper Hodges playing with Ezra Cleveland injured. So where's your depth come from? You don't have a whole lot.
Yeah, depth.
Cole Van Lanen, right?
Depth is depth until it's gone.
Yeah.
And now it's gone. So that was sort of a luxury at the start. It was a luxury that a contending team needs. It's a luxury that a team that's 2-6 can't afford. So now you have to find out if you have depth. Cole Van Lanen supposedly had the greatest preseason in NFL history. That's all we heard about.
So, yeah.
I'm kidding about that because it got so overhyped. But he had a really good preseason. Now he needs to be your depth. You need to find out if he can be your depth going forward. If you can get him in, if you like him, then all of a sudden your dynamic changes in the offseason. So there's stories like that. We'll see how they read.
Well, 2 other names to consider in this conversation too. Blake Hance is a guy who's been around for a couple of years, and he had to start in Cleveland last year and even had to move out and play some tackle. They kept him, obviously, because they thought that he had upside, and maybe he does. They brought him up from the practice squad yesterday. And the other guy's Javon Foster, their 4th-round pick from Missouri, who Tony Baselli thought had the feet to play at this level. So, he's a guy with long arms. He played in the Southeastern Conference. He's got the body to play tackle. Well, perhaps we'll see him active in coming days or weeks. 4th-round pick is a guy you expect to eventually become a key contributor.
Yeah, I sort of wonder when that happens. You're 2-6. I don't think you throw in the towel right now. You're close. The towel's in your hand, ready to throw. But at some point, you do wonder, do you figure out what Cole Van Lanen and Javon Foster are? Because you need to know for the offseason what that means. Tackles, if those guys can play, it dramatically changes what you have to do in the offseason. And
we have to watch Brandon Sheriff, who left the game last week with injury. He came back in, but he's an older guy who's played and gutted out some injuries in recent seasons, Kai. You hope he can continue to do that, but you can't count on it.
You can't, and it's good to see at this point, we mentioned, to see what you actually have on your roster. So we're going to see what we have in terms of wide receivers, because Christian Kirk has been lost to the year. He had a surgery on his collarbone, broken collarbone. We do know Brian Thomas Jr. much more favorable outcome. He had a clear MRI, just a pain tolerance issue. He has a contusion on his side. So he could possibly be available this week, but if not this week, it's not a long-term issue. But that means there's a spot on the offense that needs to be filled. Rightfully so. I'm sure Parker Washington will kind of play that slot receiver role, but my this or that is a little bit about the 2 Penn State guys, Parker Washington and Brenton Strange. We've seen Brenton Strange involved in the offense so far this season as his playing time increased with Evan Ingram out, and now with an extra kind of person to fill in on the offense. Who do you think benefits most from it?
Well, I think Parker will, because I'm not sure that Brenton's role, unless there's one more injury to wide receiver, changes significantly. Now he's looked better and better, and I think he's earning more in the offense outside of what's going on at receiver. But at Parker Washington, he's flashed enough and done enough really positive things to make you really wonder if he can do it, if he can raise it and not just do it on occasion. Can he be Trevor's guy. I think it's what he's working toward, Brian.
I do, and I'll throw a name out there. He's on injured reserve right now, but I think he can come back after this next week. That's Devin Duvernay, who is a guy who is a Pro Bowl return man, but they hoped he would be able to take a role in the offense. And if they have continued issues at wide receiver over time, maybe they find a way to get him involved when he gets back as well. I'm a big fan of Brenton Strange. It showed last week when they moved down the field. He's a tough guy. He plays to the whistle on every play. Block, catch, doesn't matter. He'll do whatever you ask. I think the combination of him and Evan Ingram, if used correctly, could be a nice 1-2 combo that could maybe keep. I keep going back to the days when the Patriots had the 2 tight ends, right? The one who shall not be named, but the other one, Gronkowski, right? And they got a lot of mileage out of the 2 tight ends because they were very creative that year. It's been a long time. But I keep thinking if you have to, you can use those 2 guys in combination.
And Doug's certainly utilized tight ends in his time in Philly as well. And I've just been impressed with the amount of trust that Brenton Strange has already kind of garnered from all of his teammates and Trevor as well.
He's earned it.
Yeah, he's earned it. Every time you throw in the ball, it makes a play. So at some point, that becomes muscle memory for a quarterback. And it's starting to happen with Trevor. I'm just not sure that with Parker, I think he can fill Christian's role enough that I don't know that they have to automatically change to an all 12 personnel all the time in this offense. I think Parker Washington, it's going to be interesting to me to see how well he plays. He has shown he may be able to be really good, but in this league, you have to do it over consistent time when you have an opportunity like this.
I can add, because I talked to him last week for radio, that he's confident in his ability to take that next step.
Sure.
It's not like this is too big for him. He played at Penn State.
I think a lot of the second-year players we've been seeing stepping up this year, and hopefully he's the next one to do that. Let's look to the defensive side of the ball. We've been hearing about Dewey working his way back. He's had his practice window activated, possibly could be activated to active roster this week. Do we see him as a starter right out of the gate? Has he been out long enough? Was his injury severe enough that he'll be worked back in? We've seen such interesting play from the safeties so far this year that I think a lot of people would love to see Dewey out there for every play, but is he ready to do that?
Listen, I can understand why they might want to, because he was a guy who was having a really good camp and he's grown. I mean, there was a time when he was a special teams player and a sub-package guy only. I would be cautious because he's coming back from a pretty good injury. And I'll never forget in 2022 the back-to-back games where he was the impact player in the fourth quarter in sub-packages against the Ravens and against the Cowboys. I would play to his strength until he is full strength. We'll see.
My guess is what will happen with Dewey is what always happens with Dewey. They'll work him back in slowly, and then he'll make a play in every game that he plays until he forces his way into the starting lineup.
Yeah.
So that's usually his MO. He's an aware player. Look, he and Foye and Ventrell Miller to me are the guys that have what this team has lacked too much, which is an awareness to make plays in the moment. And I think he'll force his way back in. He'll probably give one up, but then he'll get a pick where you go, we got to play this guy.
Listen, don't forget, he was this team's best special teams performer before he got hurt. So there's probably a very interesting give and take conversation between Heath Farwell and Ryan Nielsen about how much and who, because you know that teams wants him back also.
Absolutely. Stay with us here on Jags A.M. Coming up, we'll talk about a little bit what's going on in the AFC South.
Navigating the current housing market and figuring out your best move when it comes to a mortgage isn't your full-time job, but it's one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make. That's where the experts at Jet Home Loans get into the game and coach you to your ultimate goal of getting not just the right loan, but the perfect loan for you, the home of your dreams. Jet Home Loans works with you all the way, from application to closing, making sure your game plan is perfect. Make the call to Jet Home Loans and let their team join your team to make your dreams take flight. Visit jethl.com.
When disaster strikes, trust the experts at Surf Pro. As a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, they bring the same dedication and precision to restoring your property as the Jaguars do on the field. Whether it's water, fire, or storm damage, their highly trained professionals are on call 24/7 to make it like it never even happened. Surf Pro, your local leader in restoration and cleanup.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields, and we have some great news. Fields has the vehicle you want, in stock, priced right, and ready for delivery.
Fields Auto Group is Jacksonville's luxury automotive destination for Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Inventory is back and available for immediate delivery.
And every Fields customer can take advantage of our Fields Amenities program with complimentary loaners, car washes, and our cafes. You deserve the best.
Stop by today or go to fieldsauto.com.
Calling all junior fire chiefs. Parents, register for your child to win the ultimate Jaguars game day experience. Sponsored by Firehouse Subs, cheering on the Jags from the Firehouse Subs fire truck at Everbank Stadium, flashing the fire truck lights when the Jags score. As honorary junior fire chief of the game, your child will receive a Firehouse Subs gift, and the whole family will receive 4 tickets and a parking pass to a home game this season. Visit Jaguars.com/sweepstakes to enter to win today. See website for terms and conditions.
Ranked as the nation's best public university by the Wall Street Journal, the University of Florida is on a mission to transform education. UF continues to help grow the economy through research breakthroughs and leadership in AI. And with its nationally recognized career services, UF students and graduates have never been better prepared to make a difference in the world. To learn more about how the University of Florida fuels bold ideas that make an impact around the globe, visit fromflorida.ufl.edu.
Are you ready for a taste bud touchdown? Well, Jags fans, if you're at the bank and craving a snack that's shell-shockingly good, look no further than Luray Peanut Company's boiled peanuts. Picture this, you in the stands, cheering on your Jaguars, and in one hand, a bag of piping hot boiled peanuts. With original or Cajun to choose from, they're so delicious, you'll wonder where they've been all your life. So grab them while they're hot and get back to the game. And as always, Duval! Luray boiled peanuts, where every nut is a winner.
For 11 years, Dreamfinders Homes have been proud to call themselves the official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for all of the available inventory, and go Jags. Welcome back into Jags A.M. We're going to look around the AFC South a little bit, see what's going on with everybody else and some of the opponents that we're going to be taking on. Titans and Lions played each other, and it was an absolute blowout. The Lions look like Super Bowl bound at this point. It's just been so impressive what they've been able to do with the rebuild there and just the offense as well. I know they had some favorable field positioning because of special teams, but just such an impressive team.
Yeah, and the Jaguars are there in 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Or 3? Yeah,
right
2 or 3
before the
weeks
bye.
coming up. Yeah, boy, they're going to have to figure things out because the Lions have a passing attack with Jared Goff, who was, cast aside by the Rams a few years ago, and he's really turned himself into a top-level quarterback. The Titans are a team that are in transition, John. I mean, they played bully ball for so long, and they had a specific way that they beat you, and Brian Callahan comes in, and they've got to change that, and that means different players at different positions and a different mindset, and clearly they're trading players away. They're saying this is a year that we figure out who can do it, and next year's a year that we find players who can.
Yeah, and you wonder where they're at with quarterback. I mean, there's rumors with Will Levis. You're not sure what's going to happen there. They came in and they're trying to figure out who they are. Haven't figured that out yet. I don't really know where they go. I don't know what their identity will be, but I expect they'll figure it out before the end of the year and have some direction after this year. And that's what Tennessee's task is.
Yeah,
sure is. Now, when we look to the Colts and Texans, Texans getting another win. They're still atop the division, of course, but the Colts coming down yesterday that they're going to be benching Anthony Richardson. This is after he tapped himself out of the game the other day because he was winded. And I open up Pandora's box with you guys, but have you ever seen that before?
Well,
for that reason.
I haven't, and I guess it's part of, I don't know. I'm not sure what to say about it.
I don't think anyone has had an answer for it. It's
I mean, I guess he had run 3 straight plays, and there is a school of thought you want to be able to give your best if you're on the field. So let's give him the benefit of the doubt there. I would think if I'm the coach that a change is more because of the accuracy issues, and if I'm a coach, I don't necessarily change because of that play. I change if I'm concerned that Joe Flacco is a better option for me to win. Clearly they think that. Anthony Richardson, Brian, the story on him coming out was not very much experience, not very much accuracy when he played, and it was a huge project. And as we've talked about, in the NFL, it's tough to give a guy 30 games. That's 2 seasons. That's a huge chunk of your franchise development. It's hard to give guys that kind of developmental time.
Well, he's only played in what, 10 games?
10,
right?
Because he missed so much of his rookie year. Yeah,
it's only 10, but it feels like, I'm sure for Colts people, it feels like forever already. So that's kind of the point. It's hard. These guys who come out without much experience, it's hard to give them the time on task to become what they need to be, and that's the dilemma the Colts are in right now.
Listen, he is Cam Newton physically. I mean, he's this incredibly gifted physical specimen. The throw that he made on opening day, falling backwards 65 yards into the end zone, not many guys can make that throw. But most quarterbacks can stand in the pocket and distribute the ball on time, which is what the rules are designed for. Quarterback stays in the pocket, they don't get hit. This guy gets hit all the time, and that's why he's only played in 10 games. He can't stay healthy. He was a big project coming out. That was the word on him. Turns out it's more like a massive project to get him comfortable in the modern NFL. And if they're going to sit him down, how do you come back from that?
Well, he may be one of these guys, and you're starting to see it a little bit. And I think it's going to play out over the next 5 years. Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, Goff to a degree. Guys who go on to next teams because these guys come out in college right now, and it's a different game, college and the NFL. So these quarterbacks who are thrown in, they're learning on the fly, teams give up on them. Now you're seeing guys in their second career become really good. I think you're going to see a trend of that because I don't think people realize what different games they are.
By the way, the Texans losing Stephon Diggs to the torn ACL is bigger than a lot of people might think. They say, well, it's just Tank Dell and Nico Collins, and then you've got the tight end that makes so many plays. But if you recall the game the Jaguars played, he was the guy that was the most difficult to account for because he could do so many different things.
Opens up.
There's a chance.
No, I'm not saying anyone's going to catch them. I don't think, maybe the Colts do because they're closer, but it's interesting. I thought that was a sneaky, great pickup in the offseason for them. Veteran guy who can get down the field. They can run him on a sweep. He was really difficult for the Jaguars to corral. And I remember thinking, where is he on every play? With him not there, it does bring them down a notch from where they were.
Stay with us here on Jags A.M. Coming up, we will tell you what's going on the rest of the week.
We need to define a great deal in today's new home market because the so-called great deals that you find on every corner just aren't the same as the incredible opportunities you'll find with a new Dreamfinders home. How about 2.99% in year one in one of Dreamfinder's 15 communities across North Florida? Now that's a great deal. 2.99% interest rate in year one and a beautiful new Dreamfinders home. Visit DFHSalesEvent.com for our largest savings of the year on move-in ready homes. That's DFHSalesEvent.com.
When disaster strikes, trust the experts at ServPro. As a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, they bring the same dedication and precision to restoring your property as the Jaguars do on the field. Whether it's water, fire, or storm damage, their highly trained professionals are on call 24/7 to make it like it never even happened. ServPro, your local leader in restoration and cleanup.
Hey Jaguars fans, as the official whiskey sponsor of the NFL, it's not kickoff without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. And that's why they've built the Crown Royal Rig. An absurdly awesome 18-wheeler delivering the generous spirit to stadiums and tailgates across the country. Follow the Royal Rig on its journey from city to city, bringing together local cuisine, NFL legends, and the opportunity to pack a purple bag for charity and win tickets to Super Bowl 59. Visit crownroyal.com for rules and more. Please drink responsibly. Hey Jags fans, stop dreaming of creating your game day fan cave and build the Jaguars den of your dreams with ZipChair. When it comes to maximum comfort, ZipChair.com is the only place for officially licensed Jaguars recliners, sofas, bar stools, office and gaming chairs, all featuring high quality embroidered Jags logos. Crack open a few cold ones in the comfort of a ZipChair and make your home the place to be on game day. Head over to ZipChair.com and save 20% today. Use code JagsRadio at checkout. ZipChair.com, furniture for fans.
Check this out. The new iPhone 16 built for Apple Intelligence. At Verizon, you can get it when you trade in any phone from one of their top brands.
Any?
Any.
Even if it's 4 years old?
Yeah.
Even if it's 4 years old and I drop it on the sidewalk?
Yep.
Even if it's 4 years old and I drop it on the sidewalk, then a scooter runs it over, so now it's not just old and cracked, but shattered?
With Verizon, the answer is always yes. Trade in any phone from one of our top brands for the new iPhone 16 with unlimited ultimate. Plus, get a new iPad. Trade in terms apply. See Verizon.com for details. Apple Intelligence coming fall 2024.
Are you ready for some football? Well, you are now, thanks to Ticketmaster. As the official ticket marketplace of the Jacksonville Jaguars and the NFL, Ticketmaster's got the best way to take it to the house when it comes to being there live. They're the safest and most convenient marketplace to score fully verified Jaguars tickets. And even if your plans get broken up or worse, turned over, Ticketmaster gives you more flexibility to sell your seats. So get those touchdown celebrations ready and score your tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/Jaguars.
Jags fans, if you want customized Jaguars furniture for your home, check out zipchair.com to browse all the customizable options. Zipchair is furniture for fans.
Hey, let's go. Oh, let's get this first.
Second down at 9. Pressure on Lawrence. He throws and it's complete. Christian Kirk. Jaguars first down.
Yeah, Kirk. Yeah, Kirk.
Second down at 5. Lawrence throws. End zone. Thomas. Touchdown.
Let's go, man. Let's go.
That's your rookie Brian Thomas Jr. mic'd up. You may think he is quiet. He is not quiet on the field. I can promise you that. So you're going to want to check out that mic'd up. Absolutely. He was mic'd up against the Packers. It was a good one.
You know, Marvin Harrison Jr. and Malik Neighbors were top picks and are playing very well, but they're not playing better than him, who the Jaguars got in the bottom third of the first round. I mean, what a great pick. And I'll be honest, at the time I thought it was a luxury pick. I thought they needed to address the offensive line, and it turns out that this kid is as good a rookie as there is playing this year.
And they traded down and still got their guy, so.
Yeah, the encouraging thing for me is I'm not sure he's figured anything out yet.
Yeah,
this is pure talent.
And his football instincts and his ability to do special things, see it, he's a football player, and they need more of these around here.
When Jimmy Smith was here for the Colts game, for the Pride of the Jaguars induction for Tom Coughlin, he marveled at how good he was. And, you know, Jimmy doesn't throw compliments out about wide receivers very often, but thought this kid was incredibly special. He is the heir to Jimmy Smith almost 20 years after Jimmy Smith left the game.
We'll have to see. Hopefully that comes true. John, who are you talking to this week?
I am talking to Parker Washington, so I want to see how he's going to handle a huge opportunity, a potential career opportunity for him.
I'm talking to Press Taylor. I'm going to find out how they can get this offense going quicker, faster, more productive early so that they don't fall behind 10-0.
That would be great.
Yeah.
I'm going to go off field with Ventrell Miller before Florida, Georgia, see if he's got any good memories to share. And then tomorrow on Jags A.M, we're going to go over this upcoming game against the Eagles because it's going to be a tough one for sure. So we're going to break all of that down for you tomorrow. We will see you on Jags A.M.